So let's talk about the Nintendo Switch and the fact that Nintendo is trying to bankrupt me yet again. They keep coming out with new games, all bangers. Like, there's been a series of games, in particular in recent times, where it's just been back-to-back bangers on a weekly basis of games that I have to buy. These are forced purchases. If a game is released or announced that looks like a banger, I have to buy it. That's the way it works. So let's talk about the top upcoming Nintendo Switch games. This is like the best of the best, the ones that I am most interested in. So there's a lot out there. I've narrowed the list down to 9 games. I'm only going to bring up 9. There's more than 9. Oh yeah, there's definitely more than 9. But I've narrowed it down to just 9, and I'm not including limited run games for this list. Because limited run games, let's face it guys, they're putting out a new banger every week. So we're keeping them off the list. In particular, Gargoyles Remastered. That's an automatic buy. You should already know that. You should already know about that game. So I don't need to tell you about that game because you have already ordered it.
1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword ruled. It was a time of darkness. It was the age of gargoyles. Frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years. Now the spell is broken, and we live again!
And if you haven't ordered it, you can go and do that right now. You can hit pause button, go and order it. Check out the collector's edition if you're feeling rich. I was very tempted to buy it because it comes with a giant Goliath statue. I was very tempted. I'm forcing myself not to purchase the collector edition, even though I would like to, because I need money for other games, and I don't really have the shelf space for collector's editions anymore. So I'm kind of done with collector's editions, with some exceptions. We'll get into that. Keep in mind, all of these games are being released later this year, 2023, or some of them will be 2024, but a good majority of them will actually be this year. So they are games that you could order right now and be expecting to arrive before the end of the year. So let's just go ahead and start with the most recently announced game. This is Unicorn Overlord that was brought up at the Nintendo Direct that just came out recently. So if you saw that, you caught a glimpse of this game. Interestingly enough, this is also published by Sega. They seem to have gotten the rights to a lot of very heavy hitters in recent times. Because guess who made this game? Let's just read it right here. From the masterminds that brought you 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, and Odin Sphere, Atlas and Vanillaware presents the rebirth of tactical fantasy RPG. I think they meant to put an S there, RPGs, maybe. But this is coming from Vanillaware / the creators of 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, the game so good, a game so good that by the time you finish that game, you will have the strong urge, a very strong urge, to pick up a gun and blow your own balls off. And I know this to be factually correct because I beat the game. And it was arguably the best game ever made. Okay. I don't think it beat Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. But it's up there. It's up there. In the best of the best. 13 Sentinel Aegis Rim. So really all you need to know to consider this game is that it was made by the guys that made 13 Sentinel Aegis Rim. That's really all you need to know. But what's also interesting is that they don't really reveal much about this game. The trailer is very vague. I can't quite figure out how the combat works. But as you'll see from the trailer, it does appear to be closer toward Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen. and perhaps even mixed with some old school heroes of Might and Magic. It's a really interesting concept. I haven't fully been able to figure it out, and it might be a mix mash of a couple of different types of strategy RPGs, and it might even have different types of combat, but it's definitely a cross between Might and Magic and Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen. And look at this. Cultivate a grand army with over 60 unique characters, from humans and elves to massive beasts and heavenly angels. So it doesn't appear to be the Shining Force Final Fantasy Tactics type of tactical RPG.
Yet as the world stands consumed by immense evil, a fallen prince shall rise again, ring of legend lighting his path.
That is the Ring of the Unicorn, ancestral treasure of Cornea's royal lineage. Legend speaks of your ancestors wielding it to purify evil.
Yet the answer is clear as day now. The path before us is laid bare, and all that remains now is to walk it. Walk it I will, Mother.
Freely traverse an expansive world. Gather new allies, forge your bonds, and lead the liberation to glorious victory.
But we will get more info on this as time goes by. But more importantly, there is a collector's edition coming out, and this is where I was saying, I might be forced to actually purchase collector's editions, even though I don't want to, because this one comes with a card game, 2 to 4 players, 30 to 120 minutes long. And if this is the only way to get this card game, this is a forced buy. And I'm telling you guys about it for that reason, because you might be interested in this. And yeah, you know what? When you pre-order a game, sometimes it backfires, and sometimes the game sucks. We don't know much about this yet. They haven't really described exactly how you play. But I like to go into games blind. I like to not know exactly how to play in my old age. And sometimes I get screwed. But I enjoy it. Adds to the excitement. Have you ever gone to see a movie at the theater? You just walked into the theater and you chose a movie, but you have no idea what it's about and you never saw the trailer? Well, that's what I kind of do in the video game world, and I highly recommend it. I think it's really fun. Number 2 is a PlayStation 1 style game called Quaiden, Azuma Manor Story. It is a Play Asia exclusive, I do believe. Play exclusive, I think that means Play Asia. What is that? Pretty sure it is. Don't quote me on that. So, this is I already pre-ordered this too, by the way. Like, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I don't kid around. I don't play around when it comes to these games. When I say these games are the best upcoming games that you could possibly get, I'm not exaggerating, because I already pre-ordered them. And if I haven't already done it, I'm going to. And this one I've already bought and paid for. So it's meant to be in the PlayStation 1 style. They did that on purpose. Just so you know, look at the graphics. These are PlayStation 1 graphics. It's meant to give you the look and feel of a PS1 game and to bring you back to the golden age. It's based in 1930s Japan. Here it says, Quaiden mixes classic 3D horror action with point-click adventure to provide a nostalgic yet new experience. With no guns, strategy is needed to take on the Yoki close up with traditional weapons such as Naginata, Magatama, and mirror that releases a deadly aura. Okay. Well, translation, you fight with swords, okay? You fight with swords. I don't know how to pronounce these words. You get swords and katanas and stuff, and you kill stuff in a PlayStation 1 style game. Retro style polygon graphics evoke classic games of the early 2000s with movie reel style presentation. Select between Origin mode for authentic tank style controls, which I actually enjoy, by the way, or modern for standard analog movement. And they do have a collector's edition on that one too. I think it's only an extra $10. So if you are interested in those collector's editions, which I mostly am not, for space reasons. If you actually, by some miracle, have space, and you don't have 10,000 games sitting behind you, then by all means pay the extra 10. Number 3, we've got Naruto X Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections. Okay, we got this. If you've watched my channel, you know why. If you've ever heard me mention Naruto, Naruto is the best fighting game ever made. Okay, perhaps other than Marvel vs. Capcom. For one reason. Doing online battles where you yell out your jutsu and all of your taijutsu just like real life Naruto. In Naruto, they yell out the moves that they do. I don't know why they do that, but it sounds awesome and it's cool. Maybe that's why they do it. And I do that online. Every single jutsu that I do and every single combo that I do, I yell out. And if that means I don't, if that means there's no actual name for what the hell I'm doing, I make up a name. I make up my own combos, I make up my own names. And I yell at the top of my lungs to my opponent. And I have a blast. So this is a must-buy. Now, if by chance they don't allow you to yell on the microphone in the Switch version, I will get it on the PC as well. I will double dip.
I'll protect the Hidden Leaf Village with my life. It's my duty as a Hokage.
Your ambition will create lots of sacrifices. That isn't something worthy of a ninja.
This world will end.
You are in the palm of my hand. You had no chance to win in the first place.
This is the difference in determination between you and me.
A ninja who has lost their will is no match for us.
I'll give it everything I have.
I'll defeat you and add you to my collection.
Struggling is useless. You can't run from an explosion.
Guys, I had to do a diaper change, so I'm now recording the rest of this video the following day. Had to do a diaper change. There's a lot of bangers in this video, and I wasn't fully prepared. I didn't have the extra absorbent on. I wasn't fully prepared for that. That was my mistake. It won't happen again. So let's get right into number 4 here. And keep in mind, remember guys, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. All of these games are either already pre-ordered or they will be ordered. So if you just round up to 10 games, and this is just 10 recent games, I'm already basically $1,000 deep into this when you add in the taxes. Let's just round up. I'm $1,000 deep into what you're watching. So this is serious business. This game here is called A Space for the Unbound, and this is the physical edition because apparently this is already out digitally. I think it's on PC and, you know, all the home consoles, but digital only. And I'm not a fan of digital, so quit getting digital games. Well, here on this channel, we get physical games. You want your digital crap? Why are you even playing on a home console? Like, you might as well go PC at that point. At least on PC you can get great Steam sales. You can get a friggin' ton of dirt cheap games. You can get game bundles. Check out a website called fanatical.com. Great bundle site. You can get humble bundles. Yeah, but we don't do PC. Okay, we do physical games that you can resell if you don't want them anymore, and you can make money. And you can make profit, too, if you get rare games. How about that? I like to get rare games. You know, games, but while they're still cheap before they actually become rare. Little Samson, $100. Back in 2010. Go look at the price today. All right, back to A Space for the Unbound. Now, this game, this is not a review, by the way. I'm going into these blind just like you. We're learning about these games together. This is what they're calling a slice of life adventure game. It looks like a 16-bit style RPG, but it's not really an RPG. It has, I guess, RPG elements to it, but it's really, like, look at these pixel graphics. These are beautiful graphics. It's really a legitimate adventure game. Apparently has a really good story. It's very popular. I'm hearing nothing but good things. Nothing but good. And especially the music. Everybody compliments the music for some reason. So I guess there's a lot of exploration. Explore rural Indonesia. Chat with town folk. And dive into people's minds to solve puzzles. So it's an adventure game. You're running around, you're solving puzzles. What's also interesting about this is the game designer himself said that the focus was to capture what it felt like to grow up in Indonesia in the 1990s. 1990s were the best year. So, I mean, that alone should probably sell you. And he wanted to preserve his memories as an Indonesian through the game. We're looking at reviews, 8.5 out of 10. From Nintendo World Report. RPG Fan gave it 89%. Touch Arcade 4.5 out of 10. Guardian 5 out of 5 stars. So it's clearly a little bit of a masterpiece for what it is, and there is a collector's edition as well. Now, I'm not into the collector's edition, but again, if that's your thing, check it out, because a lot of times those collector's editions do go up in value. Significantly higher in value. They are significantly lower print runs, but remember, there is a catch with collector's editions. It's a very niche item. Okay, your average gamer, your average collector would rather buy the standard edition. It's cheaper, takes up less shelf space. Okay? And because it's more niche, and I know from experience selling these types of items, because it's more niche, it takes that much longer to find the right buyer. You will find a buyer. So a lot of these collector's editions, you know, they're going $500, $600, $700. I was looking at one recently, $800. I'm not going to tell you which one it was because it's very rare. But, you know, to sell an item like that, it takes a long time. You have to have patience. If you don't have patience, it's much easier to sell that single cart. This particular game, a single cart was going for around $200, $250. You're going to find a lot more candidates out there interested in paying $250 than they are interested in paying $800. So that's why it's a little bit more niche to get those very expensive collector's editions. Those are for the hardcore collectors. Let's check out game number 5. Next up, we have Hammerwatch 2, the Chronicles edition for the Nintendo Switch. And I've already ordered this. This one I've already bought and paid for. Right here, bitch. Hammerwatch 2. This is an action RPG. In fact, I'm going to put the trailer on as I talk right now. Let's pop that trailer in. So, this game reminds me of Gauntlet, for starters, in the form of an RPG. So it's very similar to Gauntlet. You have multiple character classes. This is, I believe this one's actually 4-player, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, does it say 4-player? Yeah, play alone or with up to 3 other players in online co-op mode. So I'm pretty sure they also have local co-op as well. And if it doesn't, then this game sucks. But I'm still buying it. I don't care. I'm 99% certain it has 2 to 4 player local co-op as well. Does not make any sense to not have that. But this is basically like Diablo. This is Diablo, but with, 8-bit, 16-bit style pixelated graphics with much smaller characters. That's what this is. This is automatically a 10 out of 10. I mean, look at the gameplay, guys. Look at that. And you know what else? The price is right on a game like that. $50 Canadian. What are they probably charging? $39.99 US. So what the Chronicles edition includes is your Hammerwatch 2 base game, and also it comes with Hammerwatch Anniversary Edition base game. And keep in mind, there was a previously released Hammerwatch game, which I have already picked up from Strictly Limited Games in limited quantity. Let me pull that up, tell you how many of those they actually produced. Here it is. They still have 43% in stock. They only made 2,500 copies. This is the Heroes Edition, not the Standard Edition. This is the, quote, Heroes, Epics of Hammerwatch Heroes Edition. Oh yeah, here they'll have a good description of the game here. A hack and slash adventure game set in a unique fantasy pixel art environment. 7 classes to master, each with unique features and skills to unlock to develop your character. Multiplayer fun for up to 4 players. 2 campaigns, Castle, Hammerwatch, and Temple of the Sun. So here's the Ultimate Edition. So yeah, so here it's got Hammerwatch and Heroes of Hammerwatch Ultimate Edition. And Heroes of Hammerwatch has 9 classes available. So this is a no-brainer purchase if you're into that type of game. Guaranteed good time. I don't need to wait for its release to know it's good. Next up, we got Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill, Slaps and Beans number 2. Number 1 was also released by Strictly Limited Games. And that one is sold out and it's super rare. Here it is right here. Strictly Limited Games sold out. Came out a long time ago. Let's see if it says what year it came out. It does not specify what year. 2,500 copies only. This game went way under the radar. I have no idea why. Completely under the radar. 10 out of 10. Hilarious beat-em-up game. This is an arcade-style beat-em-up game in particular. Very rare, very tough to get, very expensive. And I guess they realized that they created a masterpiece and that it went completely under the radar because now they have a number 2 coming out fairly soon. I've already pre-ordered it. I actually went on Amazon and pre-ordered it because it was $5 cheaper for some reason. So hopefully they don't screw me over on that pre-order. So check out Amazon. Apparently this comes out December 12th of this year. And they've apparently updated a lot of things in the game. They've updated the combat system to be even better, which I didn't even think was possible because it's just a hilarious Three Stooges style of combat from the first one. The trailer doesn't do it justice. I'll show you the trailer, but I can't play the music because I'm pretty sure it's going to give me a copyright strike, and it doesn't do it justice. What you really want to do is go and watch the first trailer. So the gist of it is they updated the combat system, more moves, more power-ups, crazier, wackier power-ups, and more mini-games for 4-player mode. So the mini-games look like they might be fun. The mini-games alone, if they are good, would be worth the money in its own right. So keep that in mind. Sometimes mini-games can really make a game. So I pull out Pokemon Stadium a lot. The mini games in that game were very underrated. Pokemon Stadium is not meant to be a party game. When you talk about Pokemon Stadium for the N64, people don't think, oh, I remember that game. It's a party game. No, they, for whatever reason, they don't remember the mini games and how fun they were. Probably because there's not a lot of them, I guess. You know, when you think Mario Party, you're thinking 100 different mini games. Well, you don't get 100 games, but all you need is 1, 2, 3, 4 great mini games to make a party game that you will play over and over again. So keep this one on your radar. It is one of the best beat 'em ups ever made, without question. And I'm talking about the first one, so I'm assuming that the second one is going to be even better than the first one. Speaking of beat 'em ups, what are we on now? Number 7? We've got River City Rival Showdown. This one's coming out real soon. Real soon. River City Rival Showdown. This is another Play Asia exclusive, I believe. And this is a remake of the classic NES River City Ransom. Let's read the description. The 1989 retro classic River City Ransom has muscled up and doubled down on modern innovation, tightened controls, improved backgrounds, and even online play. Craft your own story and unlock various endings in single-player mode. That's pretty awesome. Didn't know there was multiple endings. Utilize flashy new special techniques. Play against friends in the 2D fighting game mode. That sounds pretty friggin' awesome. Double Dragon Duel 2023? What? Or DDD for short is an all-new 2D fighting game bundled in at no extra cost. Holy hell. Oh yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. Look at this. Look at these screenshots. This is River City Ransom for the NES. One of the best beat 'em ups ever made. It's basically an RPG in the form of a beat 'em up. So you collect money and you constantly purchase new moves. You're constantly buying food and coffee and power-ups and healing items. And there's secrets to find, secret shops to find. And keep in mind, the NES was working with 2 buttons, yet somehow they produced a game where you have like 100 different moves that you can purchase. They really made the most out of a 2-button controller, having, you know, all of these different moves that you could do and upgrade. They were thinking outside of the box from your traditional punch and or kick and a jump button, which was traditional back in the day. Even Double Dragon, the original Double Dragon, hell, even Double Dragon 2 and 3, they did a pretty good job at working with 2 buttons as well. You got to give those games some credit as well. Number 8, we have a very interesting game. I've pre-ordered the first one, and this is the second one, and I've never played any of them, but I keep hearing amazing things. This one is called Opus Echo of Star Song Full Bloom Edition, Launch Edition, okay. Opus Echo of Star Song. Remember, this is the second one. So this Full Bloom Edition is the definitive edition of the visual novel style adventure game. So it's not quite a complete visual novel. It is a visual novel mixed with an adventure game. That is my understanding. Has all new voice acting. And this game is famous for having, or at least the first one was, and therefore the second one will be as well, famous for having a very good story. So let's go through the features here. A rich, layered story, experience a 7 to 10 hour main storyline with a conclusion that's sure to leave you in tears, and an additional 2 to 5 hours of unique side quests for those who eat lore for breakfast. Oh, okay. It's kind of cheesy the way they worded that, but it's a little bit funny. How deep you dig is up to you. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Because sometimes you don't want to dig deep. 7 to 10 hours might be good enough for you. Oh, look at this. Play it safe or risk it all. Assess dozens of random encounters and decide whether to roll your die. Should you really try to earn some much needed cash with a bounty on your head? Or how about that stranded ship? It could be pirates in disguise. Oh, that's interesting. The fate of you and your crew lies in your hands. Light musical puzzles, man, we don't care for puzzles. Get your puzzles out of here. So my understanding is that you can probably move around. That's where your adventure aspect comes in. But the gist of it is that so you can move around and make decisions and do things. But it's still, at the end of the day, it's still the focus is the story. That's where the visual novel aspect comes in. So I know they have another one. Where's Opus? The original. Yeah, this is the one that I already bought. This is called Opus Collection, The Day We Found Earth, and Rocket of Whispers. So I think it's a 2-in-1 game. Opus Rocket of Whispers and Opus The Day We Found Earth. And what made me get it is I just kept hearing such good things about it. Everything, the music, the story, especially the story. Everyone and their mother was mentioning the story. Something very unique. And they would never reveal, like, what the plot twist is, right? Like, and thank goodness for that, you know. So all the things I was reading, luckily, no one was giving spoilers on what exactly this is. So I'm going into this blind. I just know that I keep hearing good things. Very good things. And also, it's not too long. You know, a lot of people don't want 100-hour plus games anymore, especially old man gamers like ourselves. We don't necessarily, you know, every now and then I'll take a 100+ hour RPG. I played Octopath Traveler. I put 155 hours into that. Yeah, I fell asleep for some of that, and I don't know how many hours of that is me falling asleep in my chair. And a couple other times I was playing at your mother's house. You know, we would take breaks every now and then. So sometimes you don't want a 100-hour RPG, so a 7 to 10-hour or 10 to 15-hour RPG or visual novel is that magical sweet spot. And I've talked to a lot of people about that, listened to a lot of YouTubers talk about that as well. That 15 to 25-hour on the high end seems to be that magical number that most people want nowadays. Times have changed. Back in the day, in the PlayStation 1 era, companies would advertise as a huge bonus. Oh, our RPG is 80 hours plus, 100 hours plus. And that was a huge selling feature back then, because you felt like you were getting more bang for your buck. Oh, well, this RPG is only 25 hours, but that one's 100 hours, so I'm going to get the 100-hour one. But people don't think like that anymore. That's a thing of the past. And nowadays, people want to have a shorter experience in general so that they can enjoy other things. You know, you don't want to have to devote 100+ hours because it does take away from the other 1,000 games that we would like to also play. We're on to number 9, guys. Waifu Discovered 2 Medieval Fantasy. I only just found this. So the catch with this one is that it's already out. This is not an upcoming Switch game. It's already out. It's out for your purchasing pleasure as we speak. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what the hell is this? Well, I was thinking the same thing. And as I'm scrolling through, I notice I'm reading the features. I'm trying to figure out, well, what is this? I'm reading the features. Play solo or team up with a friend for cooperative action. All right. Well, you guys know I like my co-op games. I'll purchase just about any co-op game in existence. Huge fan of co-ops. You'll never find somebody who's a bigger fan of co-ops than myself, because as soon as you make a game a co-op game, it's automatically 100 times better. That's basically how it works. So I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I'm already sold. I like medieval things. I still don't know what this is, but I see, okay, it's 2-player. All right. Well, what else does this have? What else? What is this? And then I start reading. Okay. Look at this. Waifu 2 or Discovered 2 Medieval Fantasy is a vertical shoot-'em-up experience that's easy to play and addictive to master. Okay, I like easy games. Sounds pretty good. Choose a hero and power up your ship as you blast through malicious monsters, collect gems, and destroy infected clothing. Well, I like power-ups. I like choosing my hero and having different ships. Unique ships. So you're looking at multiple classes, multiple power-ups. Easy, but hard to master. This is checking off all the boxes. And it's medieval. I like my medieval RPGs and stuff. So what else does this have? What an interesting game. So I start reading more. What's this? Discover one-hand mode featuring 2 special ships. I don't really know what that is, but that sounds pretty cool. 2 special ships. I can play with one hand. Oh, it's wonderful. Enjoy an alluring gallery with visual effects, clothing selector, and more. Okay, so you got some DLC type of thing. Well, it's not DLC though, but different skins. Okay. Let's look at, the pictures. What type of game is this? Holy hell. Okay. So then I start sorting through these pictures, and I'm starting to notice a pattern here. I'm seeing some big old titty. Damn! Let's do a recap here. So we got 2-player co-op. We got shoot 'em up. I like shoot 'em ups. I'm not a huge fan, but it says it's easy. Okay, good. Multiple ships, lots of power-ups, and big old titty. What more do you want? Oh, and look at this. This must be all the ships that you can pick. There's even unlockables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different characters. I think. I've never played it. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers. On my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games. And that does include Nintendo Switch video games as well. And I have a shelf dedicated to Nintendo Switch over in that room over there. And it's almost full. So I don't know what I'm going to do when that fills up, because I don't have any more space. Try putting 9,000 games in your house. Okay, you tell me it's easy, because it's not easy. I have people at work telling me I'm a hoarder. I call it collecting, it's not hoarding.